You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
This is I Am Refocused podcast, and today we have another show lined up for you. We are talking to an entrepreneur. Her name is Logan Rena, and she is not just an entrepreneur. I must say hi because I heard that breath. What's up? How you doing?
Hi, how are you doing?
That's funny. See, that's the funny thing when you're doing podcasts and you have headphones on, you hear everything. And I just heard that deep breath. I said, okay, that's my cue. I'm just get right in the show. And that's the first time it ever happened to me. So now you have a feel. This show is going to be amazing because the conversation is real life. Like, we don't sugarcoat nothing. We just have a real good conversation. So speaking of this great, awesome conversation we're about to have with you as an entrepreneur, give us a little backdrop of who is Renee.
So, Logan Rena was a girl definitely that was very selfish and one track focused. So pre-25, I thought my life was all about throwing house parties and socials and hanging out with my sorority sisters and me, until I lost my mom and I got out of a situationship. And both situations opened my eyes. Losing my mom just made me want to dig deeper on who I am, because she was my affirmation queen. So anytime I was down, anytime I didn't feel like I could do anything or believe I could do anything, I would just call her. So it was the first time in my life I had to learn my own voice because I was so familiar to hers. So when I lost that voice, I honestly lost myself. I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. I had a beautiful job working for the federal government, but anything I did wasn't good enough, because I didn't have that person there to reassure me. So I had to learn my own voice. I had to come up with my own affirmations, my own mantra, something I could stand on. So I would say after 25, I woke up. That's what happened.
And tell us about this project, the Logan Design Project Store. Was your mom a big inspiration for that?
Huge. So my first name is Denotra, and it means creativity. And it was something that I've always been very good in being creative. And she was like an affirmation, like genius, because she could just spit them out like easy. And what I mean by that is like mantras to stand on, if anybody's wondering. But so I just combined her love of affirmations and my creativity, and that's where the Logan Design Project came from. So it's basically just affirmations on T-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, and that's how we rolled it out at LDP.
I was checking out the store because a coffee mug that says faith is a full-time job. I can only imagine being an entrepreneur. That's probably like one of the biggest ingredients to be a successful entrepreneur. If you don't have any faith in anything you do, that's a hard thing to accomplish.
I agree, 200%.
When it comes to building your store, what was the first step for you? Like marketing, everything, like word of mouth. How did that start for you?
The greatest thing is always starting with people that you already know. A lot of times we want to get to the top people, the top dogs, and a lot of times you can't get to them, and they don't want you to get to them. So like Issa, says all the time, go across. So sorority sisters are a huge network. I work for the federal government, huge network. I built relationships with people. A lot of times we go to networking events trying to, hand our cards out. I'm trying to connect with people as much as possible because I want you to actually remember my name when you walk out of the room, and remember that I didn't ask you for anything. So I go and I actually try to build a relationship, and then by the time they get home, they have an email from me like, it was great meeting you, and I replay our conversation via email. And now to me, Messenger is the new text message. Like, nobody texts people anymore. I don't understand why, but everybody just socializing on Messenger. So, the same email that I'll send them, I'll shoot the same message in Messenger and just start to build like those relationships. Wait, what was your question? Because I get on a tangent real quick.
No, you answer it in some, and it leads me to this question. That's a major come back from a situation that was tragic, what made you want to just pick up and keep moving? How did you do it?
Well, she is definitely my why. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, she's definitely my why. And what she taught me more than anything, and I just realized is probably like a week ago, is serving. And to serve without expectation of applauses, or serve from a place of, if nobody sees me, I've done my part. If nobody buys a t-shirt, I did what I was supposed to do. You know, if nobody calls me back, I made the phone call. I sent the email. You know, serving from that place of no expectations, but serving from a place of showing up anyway. You know, that's something that I recently learned. And that's what really drives me. You know, like, I'm supposed to show up, even if I'm afraid, even if I don't know what to do. So, to answer your question, a good first step for people who actually want to do something, the best platform to use is Shopify. If you want to start your brand, build your brand, if you have some type of idea, their first package is $29. They already have the templates. All you have to do is plug and play. But I love Shopify.com. If you're looking to start and just get a website, even if you want to be a blogger or something and start selling PDFs or something like, you know, on a smaller scale, start with Shopify.com.
See, I'm going to jump right into that because you mentioned all this amazing affirmations, and there's people out there who might have tried it and they gave up, because I can just hear someone say, man, I had that going and nobody would go to my store. I couldn't get my own brother to click and buy a t-shirt. So spill the beans, or the secret sauce, so to speak. And what was it, like the it factor, quote unquote, that allowed you to get the traffic and get people to support it?
So a couple of things. You can have people actually come to the store, who are really popular on Instagram, really popular on Facebook, and you send them free things. You know, they'll get traffic to your store because they'll end up advertising your t-shirt, advertising your coffee mugs. I did not do that, honestly. And I should do it to grow and scale, probably something I will consider in the future. But like I said, working across. How many people do we have in our phones? Like especially like from high school, college, you know, networking events. Like, how many people do you have already in your catalog, I guess you would say, and let everybody know what you're doing? A lot of times people think that other people know what they're doing, and that's not true. Unless people are stalking you, they don't know that you're an entrepreneur now, or, you know, you might still have a full-time job, so they think you only still, you know, work for Xerox. So they don't know that you started a business. So letting all of your family know, your friends know. I mean, some people in my life still don't know. And I, you know, post up every single day. So sending them that message, and not asking them for anything, literally not asking them for anything, but letting them know what you're getting your hands in and what you're about to do.
If you just now join us, we are talking to Logan Rena, and also on this entrepreneurship journey on this podcast, coaching people today. What is the biggest, not problem, but the biggest challenge that you face trying to get yourself on that next level? Because it's one thing to have a website, but it's another thing to make this a life, you know, style, like an actual situation where you're living it and not just, hey, post a picture.
I would say for women, I can't speak to men because I've never been a man, but for the women that are going to listen to this podcast, is wholeness, and that wholeness and confidence. So I break this down in the book. Wholeness is, I know who I am. Confidence is, since I know who I am, I'm about to walk in this definition. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't trust yourself, you don't love yourself, it doesn't matter what you post. It doesn't matter what business plan you come up with. You're never going to scale it, because belief and confidence is the first step. So that is your foundation. So let's move off the foundation. Let's say you now know who you are. You're now walking in who you are. You have your store up. Now it's time to start building some relationships. Relationships are the key to anything scaling. Currently, I'm looking for a business partner, you know, somebody I can trust, flow ideas off with, because I know to go to the next level, I'm going to have to, branch off, and you cannot do it by yourself. That is a very hard lesson I have learned. So for anybody, especially if you're still working a full-time job, if you can find somebody that you can build a relationship with and you both trust each other and you both share vision, I would suggest highly, working with somebody close-knit so you can bounce ideas off of, and together you all grow. So I would say that's the 3 steps.
And it's crazy how they say time flies when you're having fun. Before we close this segment, I'd like to say there's one metaphor. It's a stretch, but it popped in my head. I'm random like that, but I've never seen a tree with one branch. So, since that's not normal, then it's probably not normal for people to be isolated, because we're not islands, especially entrepreneurs. I know entrepreneurs are allergic to other entrepreneurs, but that's not a good sign. That's really more of a sign of you versus the world, because a lot of times we want to blame the world for our issues instead of just digging deeper from the inside out. So before we close this segment, what is the title of the book that you came up with? And we're going to touch on that in the second half.
Never ask for permission again.
Man, that's a mic drop, but we're not over with the show yet, so we can't just wrap up the show like that. But don't touch that iPhone. We are here on I Am Refocused Podcast talking to Logan Rena. This is on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many other platforms. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Rockefeller's Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockefeller's Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Road. My phone number is 210-782-5188. And again, we do walk-ins on Sundays. You are listening to I Am Refocused Podcast on iHeartRadio. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning our business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hey, welcome back. This is I Am Refocused Podcast. We are talking to Logan Rena. She is an awesome entrepreneur. She is from, man, can you imagine this whole time I never asked you where you're from? Are you from the West Coast?
I live on the West Coast, but I am from Mississippi, born and raised.
I was halfway, 50%. Yeah, so you live in the West Coast though, right?
Yes, I live in Cali.
Confirmation. I might have to edit out, but no, I'm not going to edit out because we're just having a good conversation. So about your book, tell us the title again, and how did you come up with that name?
Never ask for permission again. And it's actually funny because I've been writing this book for 4 years. It doesn't take that long, but that's how long it took me. And I had a book coach that I actually heard on another podcast. I wrote her. She's over 60 years old. And I was like, man, your interview was everything. Like, I've listened to it a couple times. And she was like, thank you. She was like, nobody has even reached out and said anything about it. I was like, what? I was like, you were dropping jewels. She was like, yeah, you're the only person that wrote me. I was like, do you live in San Diego? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, can I take you to coffee? So she met me for coffee, all from me listening to her podcast and me reaching out. So we're sitting at Starbucks and, she just, again, dropping more jewels and nuggets. I'm like, oh my God, like, this is a true blessing, right? So I'm sitting in the sun where my back is like burning. My neck is burning. And I was like, do you mind if I move? She was like, do you think Oprah Winfrey would ever ask for permission? I was like, wow.
Ouch.
I was like, never ask for permission again. Because as women, we do it all the time. You like my hair? You think I should wear this? Man, you think I should move to California? Like, we're always asking other people for confirmation outside ourselves. The truth is, the answer is in us. You know, we don't have to ask somebody, can we move out of the sun because our back is burning? You know, like, I mean, and we do it all the time. Like, some people will go change their entire outfit because somebody tells them they don't like that dress on them. But when they walked out the room, they walked out in hopefulness. They walked out feeling themselves, you know. And just because one person says something, they go and change their entire outfit, you know. So that's what the book is about, walking you through strategies and simple tactics on how to stop asking and start executing.
You know what? I just have a new title for your next book whenever you write again. It's going to be,
all right, let's write it.
It's Unnecessary Tans, because like when you said the whole thing that you was asking permission to move while you're baking the sun, like that's hilarious. And I can imagine there's a lot of people, both men and women, entrepreneurs, who have unnecessary tans in life because they stay in one spot and they're like, who's going to lift me up and take me to China or wherever you want to be in life? And it's like, well, you got 2 feet. Why don't you make a move?
Yeah,
and that's real harsh. I'm not Steve Jobs. Okay, I'm not the owner of Facebook or Amazon, so I can't really say a whole lot except for the fact what you just said is true. And it's a lot of people who get stuck. And speaking of being stuck, what is it that makes you so confident?
Pretending to have it. So when you're pretending, the person you're lying to is yourself. So I was like, okay, we gonna be confident for real. Let's do it for real. Let's start calling you out or me out on stuff. Why didn't you speak up in that meeting? Did you not know the answer? Do you need to do a little more research? Do you need to read more so you know what you're talking about? You know, like stepping back and evaluating yourself. I think the most confident person is a person who's always looking to be more self-aware. Always. Like, what could I have done better in this interview? I'm going to replay it. I'm going to listen to it when I do interviews or when I do my videos on YouTube or I do the podcast. I listen to them. I'm like, I should have said this. I should have did that. Always stepping back, knowing that you're never going to be perfect or have it all together, ever. And I was listening to Kobe Bryant's interview today, and he was talking about it. He was like, I always come from a place of I can always be better. Like in every single thing that I do, you know, and it's stepping back and saying, how can I be better? And that's a person that is looking to create more confidence in every single thing they touch.
That answer is probably about every single question I had left in the show, but I'm just joking. That's a bad joke. But no, seriously, like I had a question about how does impact look on a daily basis, but you already answered that. And I would like to add to that is, if you're truly confident, it's because you know who you are. An unconfident person is someone who doesn't know who they are, so they try to find themselves in other people. And that's why everyone want to be like Mike, everyone want to be like LeBron James, everybody want to be like Stephen Curry. And there's nothing wrong trying to be as good. Well, I would say as good because you never be like Mike, but I'm sorry I popped the bubble, but I'm just be real because it's real talk.
No problem at all. I'm not even a Kobe fan. I mean, happen to listen to the interview, so it's cool.
But see, that's the thing, like what people have to do, just like yourself, you went through something, but that wasn't your dead end street. That was more like a open door. Let's just keep it moving. Let's touch on that. Like, say to someone right now listening to this podcast, a woman wants to start her own business, and she's like, man, I have it A to Z exactly what I want. I have the grocery list, man, but I need to get to the grocery store. You know, my metaphors are going to be kind of one way or the other, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they got everything in their head, but they don't know what it is they need to do when they get off this podcast. Maybe get your book, but after they get your book, what's the next step that they need to do? What's the next step they need to take?
So first step is take all of those things that you have in your mind out of your mind and put them on paper or put them in Evernote, put them in Workflowy, put them in, iPhone has notes. So I put even if I'm not going to do it, some stuff I'm not going to do for the next 2 years, but it's written down, and then you want to start placing more ideas under that. Like, how can I tackle this thing? And let's say you got 10 things that you really want to do. You got to pick one. You can't do 17 things. I was like, well, let me do a YouTube channel. Let me do a podcast. So I was like, let's focus on YouTube. Let's get that up and running. Let's get a system around that. Okay, now we can do a podcast. You know, what's going to be the system around that? Because you're going to run yourself crazy. It is my guarantee to you that you will. So pick the one thing. Try to master that, you know, as much as you can, especially if you're doing it on your own. And then figure out an easier way to do that first thing. And then when you go to the second thing, it's really a breeze. You know, you're able to move through it a little bit more, but you got to break it out and you got to focus on one thing at a time. And then give yourself a little grace every day. If you knock out one thing, I say touch your dream every single day. If you touch your dream one time a day, I'm proud of you. And I want you to be proud of yourself. Do one thing every single day that moves you closer, and you're 365, you know, steps closer to what it is that you really want. Because there's some people not touching anything. So if you touch one thing every single day, you've done your part.
Man, I had like 10 million like analogies just like come out of my head right now, and I don't know which one to say. So
see, I'm just dropping jewels, and you turning the jewels, you know. I'm
gonna say like maybe 2 or 3, but it's not even me. It's all about your interview. So I'm gonna just kind of tame it down. But I have to say something to that what you just said, because really, what you just said about touch your dream daily, man, that's profound. Because number one, it makes you almost think of a kid, like a child, like a parent and a child, you know, from infant to when they grow up and get kicked out the house. So, you know, the kick out house part is it can be good or it can be bad, but the whole part of the parenting that kid is like, it's like your business, it's like your brand, it's like yourself. It's all about nurturing that situation so that it can grow up to be something great. Well, your business can never grow up if it can't get out the cradle. Like, it needs to grow. Like, a lot of times we hit these roadblocks and it's like, I can only make this much. And even if you are in that position right now where you feel like you can only make this much, it's probably because you're still doing the same things with the same ideas you had years ago.
Yeah.
You gotta touch, like Logan Rena, you gotta touch the dream. Man, you put that on a t-shirt, touch your dream day. Because that's real.
I might go ahead and let me put that down on the list. See, I'm writing it down, guys. You gotta write it down.
But it's true, because even like what you said about writing things down, it really came to life when you said touch your dream daily. Because the thing is, you can't really see your dream unless you know what you want to dream about. Just like if I want to go to Detroit, I say this analogy all the time, so my listeners get ready for a repetitive moment. When you're driving a car and you want to go to Detroit, well, when you're driving, you're not going to get Detroit in 20 minutes. There's a lot of things you got to go through. Different cities, different states. So what people need to do with the business is enjoy the process. Because a lot of times we want to get on ESPN top 10 plays, but we haven't even gone to practice yet. Like, how can you even hit a home run if you don't know how to swing the bat, let alone hold a bat?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not in my show. I mean, it is my show, but it's about that's you. It's about you. So let's get back to you.
No, that's good. Hey, again, being self-aware and confident, you are always in a position of learning because you don't know it all. So I love it.
And speaking, that's an interesting, man, I hate the fact that the show is almost over. So I'm going to give some extra minutes. I'm going to buy some extra minutes real quick. You said listening. That's something that business owners, what's your opinion on that when it comes to business owners doing more listening versus talking? Because talking is one thing, but listening is a whole different element.
And this is something that I've had to learn while networking, while at conferences, at workshops. I already know everything I know, but there is a world of information that I know nothing about. So when I go in, literally, I try to put a piece of tape over my mouth. Like, I'm not here to impress you. If you want to be impressed, then, come to a conference, come to a workshop I'm going to do, or something like that. So really, and a lot of people don't even know how I speak until they come hear me speak, and they're shocked. because when we're together, we're laughing, having a good time. And I'm letting you talk as much as possible because I want to know what's in your mind. I want to know what it is that you're working on. What systems have you put in place? What apps are you using that's really easy and that's made your business, turn around? What books have you read? Like, I just want to absorb all that. I say always walk into a room being a sponge and being a student. You want to absorb as much information from people as possible. And another thing I said today in another interview, when you're around people, literally just sit. Just be in the atmosphere of abundance. Be in the atmosphere of people who have already touched their dream, and your body will get comfortable with abundance. Your body is not comfortable yet hanging around multimillionaires, right? So you go sit in a room and just listen to them. Don't add your opinion. Don't even add your joke. Just be in the environment so your body can get used to you bringing in money, bringing in more joy, bringing in, abundance in your life. Your body has to get used to that type of vibe because right now you might not have that vibe. So let your mind, your heart, your spirit, your soul get used to abundance by being in the room with people who already have that.
Man, that makes total sense. I got 2 points. I'm going to give you the floor before we wrap up the show. Because when you just said that, I had a visual because I'm a very visual person because I'm abstract when I think. So when you just said that, I'm like, okay, that makes total sense. Imagine someone wanting to join the varsity team, but they hang out with the preschool kids.
Right.
Like that's exactly how we treat our brands. That's exactly how we look at ourselves when we work 9 to 5 trying to get a promotion. Not to say we hang out with coworkers who are like preschool kids, but you know what I'm saying? We hang out as if we aren't good enough to be with those at the top.
Yeah.
But they breathe the same air. This is the last part I'm gonna say before I let you have the floor. Gravity never has to speak for itself. So one must be like gravity. Then people will feel a shift in the atmosphere because of your presence.
Yeah. That's good. That's good, Mr. Reed.
So I'm gonna just give you the floor and say, how can people support your project for your designer store, and also tell us where they can find your book.
Definitely. The book comes out October 4th. I'm so excited about it, guys. Entitled Never Ask for Permission Again. And this book is going to definitely challenge you to courageously show up in every room being yourself, your full self, the self that you're going to take the time and get to know for real, like better than anybody. Like you should know yourself better than anybody on this earth, you know? So it's really going to challenge you in those areas. So of course I'm on every single platform as Logan Rena, RENA. And I'll share my links with you after the show. And I would love to talk to you all. If you all want to email me, it's logan@loganrena.com. If you have any questions, I'm definitely here to answer them.
Well, that was a really informative, educational show. I'm sure people were inspired. So before we let you go, any shout outs or anything you want to give us, teasers on, like updates on events or anything, this is your moment.
Definitely October 4th. That's going to be the biggest push. October 2nd, the ebook will be available. I'm going to do the ebook for 99 cents, guys. Like 99 cents. Everybody can find 99 pennies somewhere on the ground.
Man, you can ask for 99 cents.
Right. And of course, downloadable, and you get instant access to the book. And so October 2nd, the ebook, October 4th, the book will be out. So, yeah.
Well, there you have it. We just talked to Logan Rena, and she is an entrepreneur. Make sure you follow her on social media. And if you missed out on what she just said, it doesn't hurt. Just listen to the show again. You might learn it, you listen to this more than once, you're going to learn something that you never realized the first time you listen to. I do that when I watch movies. You watch a movie, you say, hey, I didn't see that the first time. But
that's true.
But like we always say, every time we end the show, the broadcast, we always end it with these words, y'all. Keep God first, stay focused, and peace.